Hi and welcome back. Now in this video I'm going to be showing you how to install a night latch. I've got my new front door all set up in the workshop because I'm just getting it ready to be fitted. So yeah, I'm going to be demonstrating on this. Now you might be wondering why this glass on the side here isn't frosted, and that's because I ordered the wrong glass for the returns there. So please, let's just imagine that that's frosted. We're going to be using just a traditional night latch. This is a Yale one. It's not sponsored. It's just a semi-decent one that I got from B&Q, I think, or somewhere like that. This has got a deadlock feature on there. It doesn't make a difference whether it's deadlockable or not. It's the same process. You will notice on the front, the instructions with these are absolutely brilliant. It's even got a QR code so you can watch a video, but don't watch that, watch this video. So let's get this unwrapped and then we'll jump onto the door and I'll show you how to go ahead with it. Okay, so this is everything that comes in the pack. Like I said, most of these are like pretty generic. They all pretty much come with the same. I've gone for a narrow style one because I've got a narrow style on my door. They do a wider one. They work exactly the same and the fitting process is exactly the same. So I wouldn't worry too much about that. I have ordered a finger pull to go on the outside. So that replaces this piece here and that just goes in there like that, just meaning that you can get your finger underneath the door to shut it. So let's get the instructions out and I'll show you briefly what you need to do and then we'll actually get onto the door and do that. Okay, so here's the instructions. Hopefully you guys can see that, but you should have these with you anyway. So our first step here is telling us we need to drill a 32mm hole 40mm back from the edge of the door. So let's get that done. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is establish what height we want to put our lock into. Now I'm going to go smack bang in the middle of this piece of glass just because it's aesthetic reasons. I think it's going to look nice. So I've got 720mm, so 360mm is my centre of that. And what I want to do now is actually square that line across. There we go. We don't need to worry about squaring around the side, although I will for this, just because I can, really. Now the next step before we start drilling anything is we want to think about our exit hole. So if we're going to be drilling from this side here, we're going to be coming out the other side. Obviously you can drill from both sides. I would recommend doing that. It's probably a good idea. Or alternatively, you could clamp a block on and drill right the way through. I might do that in this instance anyway, because I've got fresh paint on the other side, which is still a little bit soft. So I don't really want to drill from both sides because it might peel that off. But I would recommend drilling from both sides if you have the option. So now that we have our squared across line, we need to measure back 40mm because that's what the instructions told us to do. And that's our point. And what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to take a bradawl and I'm just going to put it right on that point, just so our drill bit's got somewhere to go with. Like I said, if you're drilling from both sides, you want to square that line round onto the other side and mark that 40mm and do the same on there. I'm not going to be doing that. I'm going to clamp a block of wood on now, which I'll do, and then we can actually start drilling. Okay, so block of wood is on, a hole is marked out. I've got a brand new 32mm drill bit in my drill and I've got a nice freshly charged battery. So that should give us the best possible outcome. So let's get this hole drilled. Okay, so for our next step, we're going to need our finger pull or this little bit, depending on what one you're going with. Obviously, I said we're going with the finger pull. We're going to need the barrel itself, and then off the lock mechanism or the latch mechanism, we're going to need this back plate here. Now, yours might be screwed in there. Mine isn't. My screws are just in the pack, so mine just slides out. But to get this out, it's a little bit fiddly, but you've got two locking pins that go in the back here, so you have to kind of like pull it back and out at the same time. So that's the pieces we're going to need. So let's go turn ourselves back to the door. Okay, so for this next step, it's easier if I show you off the door how this goes together. So you put your barrel into your finger pull, which will then go through the hole like that. But before I put that in, I want to demonstrate to you guys, if you imagine the door's in there, then this plate goes on and then these screws go through the holes and line up with the holes in the back of the finger pull here, if you can see. So I'm going to get that fixed onto the door, but I just wanted to show you that off the door because we essentially have to work on both sides of the door otherwise. So now we've got our mounting plate and our barrel in. What I want to do is, before we actually fix this mounting plate in place, because we've still got adjustment on this, what I want to do is actually take our lock body itself, put it on, make sure I'm happy with the adjustment. Basically, I want this edge here to be flush with the edge of the door, or slightly back. We don't want it protruding out the front. Now, you'll notice inside the lock body itself, we've got this hole in here, which this spindle, whatever, I don't know what the technical term is, will go into. Now you might have to cut this down if your lock doesn't go on flush. You might have to cut that down. I would recommend using a junior hacksaw to do that. I would not use an angle grinder anywhere near your finished door, because it can damage glass, and it can, you know, if you've got an oak door or something like that, it can leave iron filings on there. So little junior hacksaw for that. But what I want to do is take my lock body and actually put it on and check. Okay, so there you go. You can see that my lock is nice and flush with the edge of my door. I might actually move this back a mil just so it sits in a little bit, because we've got plenty of movement on there, so we can adjust it backwards. But now that we've done that, we can take this back off, and we're going to put a screw in this hole here and a screw in this hole here, and that's going to lock our plate on just to make sure that we're nice and secure. Okay, so yeah, this is our keep. Now you can see that on our keep, we've got the main body that sits on there, and then we've actually got this part here that goes into our frame, and that needs recessing in. So I'm going to show you now how to chop that in. Okay, so lining up with our lock body, you can see that these are the same size. So what we want to do is we actually want to shut our door into our shut position, and we can actually mark onto the frame. Sorry if my head's in the way. Where our keep wants to sit, and then we can open this door up and get this completely out the way. Okay, so now that we've got our two heights marked on here, I'm actually going to square these across. Not for me so much, but more just for you lot, so you can see it. So we'll square that line across there. We'll square that line across there. So now hopefully you can see our plate, or our keep I should say, sorry, is going to sit in between them two lines. You'll notice here, if I show you, this part is slightly narrower than this part here. So we're actually wanting to position the front part rather than the back part with our lines. And that'll keep it nice and tight in there. What I would recommend doing here is drilling a hole, and popping two screws in there, and then we can knife round this nicely. Right, so we're going to temporarily screw this on. I'm just going to use a couple of drywall screws. I don't want to use the actual screws just yet, because I don't want to risk like cross-threading them or anything. So a couple of temporary screws. I don't want to over tighten that either. I just want to nip it up. Make sure we're all nice and tight. Make sure that plate is tight to your frame, so you're all good. And then we're going to take a nice sharp Stanley knife blade, or if you're across the pond, utility knife blade, and we're just going to knife around that. We're going to go nice and gentle on the first cut. We really don't want gaps now, guys. We really don't want gaps now. We want to keep everything nice and tight and clean, hence why we're knifing. So now we've established them lines, we'll take this back off. And then we'll get our knife again. Just go back in there and deepen them lines back up. Take your time, nice and slow on this. Actually put a square on there as well, just so we follow them lines perfectly. I'm sorry, I know I'm in front of the camera right now, but this is very difficult to do. and to show you guys. It's not difficult to do, sorry, I should say. It's difficult to film and do at the same time. But I'll show you what we've got now. There we go. After you've knifed, that's what it should look like. You shouldn't be on your pencil marks because remember, this part is smaller than the overall part. So we're going to chop this out with a chisel now, taking our time. Nice sharp chisel, and we want to chop to this depth here. You can mark it on the front there. I prefer to just use muscle memory. I can't use a router, unfortunately. Well, I could use a router, but it would be long-winded because we've got our rebate in our frame and our draft excluder in there. So I'm just going to take my time and chop that out. And if you've done a good job in chopping that out, it should hold itself in. You should just about be able to pull it out. Shouldn't have to hammer it in, but then also it shouldn't just fall out underneath its own weight. So now we can get the screws back in there. Although we're going to be using the proper screws, although annoyingly the proper screws that come with it are flatheads randomly, I don't know why. And there we have it. That is how you fit a night latch. Now, don't disappear just yet because I want to explain to you guys what's coming next after this video. We are going to be putting a mortise lock down here. So obviously this is like your at home lock, just to stop people walking in. And then we want to put our mortise lock down low here just to make sure that this door is double secured. We're going to be doing a 5-lever one because that's what most insurance companies ask that you put in there. Anyway guys, thanks for watching this video. I want to say a massive thank you to my members. They're the guys that you can see across the bottom of the screen now. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button because we're going to be doing the night latch in this, and also I'm going to be doing a video on actually fitting this door to the front of my house, so you'll be able to see that one as well. If you've got any questions at all, if I didn't cover anything properly, let me know in the comments below and I will get back to you. I try and get back to as many comments as I can, but if not, like I said, them YouTube members in there, they're brilliant at answering questions if I've missed them. So yeah, go and do that guys. Hit that subscribe button, hit the like button if you've got anything from this video at all, and I will see you lot on the next one. Cheers.